Shiva G.
Alright, this is
I don't know, bro.
Metasage and Shiva G. It's been like a couple of years since I even talked on video. And I don't know why, and maybe I burned out on philosophy or spirituality. So this is the first time people that are subscribed to me have heard me talk in quite some time. I don't know why. Maybe it's a Zen kind of thing where, like when you're trying to trap a rabbit and you use a trap and then you catch the rabbit, then you throw away the trap. Maybe I was trying to convey ideas and then I conveyed those ideas, so now I've lost the words. But maybe this video will help reintroduce me into that world a bit.
Alright, so I don't know what to talk about other than what I talk about when I talk about it.
Well, for those that don't know who you are, this is Shiva G.
Right. Shiva G,
you've got your own
Shiva G,
You've got your own YouTube page.
People call me from the past Narayan. I was called Narayan for a long time. So there's some old friends who still call me Narayan. But, I was raised Daniel,
Yeah.
A long time ago I changed it to Narayan when I was like 20. So ever since then I've been Narayan, and then Shiva G, and then Narayan, and Shiva G, and Narayan, and then I ended up just Shiva G. But people still, for like, I guess, having to do with certain adherence to certain traditions, lineage, things. So.
Yeah, let's talk about that then.
It's too much to talk about.
Well, not necessarily your personal bio, but just like what aren't people getting in
what aren't people getting
in this world?
I don't. You know what? I realize that I'm the one that's not getting something.
Why is that?
I need to get whatever it is. I'm not getting. There's something I'm not getting to this whole picture. This like reality, and something doesn't feel quite right, and it's not. I don't think it's just my imagination, or I'm being paranoid or anything like that. I think it's a no-brainer.
Well, maybe you're not a good materialist.
Well,
you're not objectifying.
I'm a lousy materialist.
Well,
I'm a lousy materialist.
So
I have no problem. I don't have a problem with matter or with even wealth. I don't have a problem with it. I don't resent those that are wealthy just because they are wealthy. I don't do that. It's like if I would have wealth, then I would feel good about it. So of course, everybody is going to feel good about having wealth. So it's like if you envy people or you want to demonize a whole group of people just because they have more, then there's a problem with that.
So why do you have the problem and not the rest of the world?
No, it's deeper than just me, obviously. It's like on all levels, this existential question, anxiety, disorder is what it is. It shows up in all different ways. It's like you can't escape it. You can have a good run of seeming that you're escaping it, whatever it is you're escaping, but as long as your escapism is based on denial, self-denial of whatever you're experiencing, as long as you're doing that, then, you're just going to remain in the whole, cat and mouse.
So what is accepting? What is not escapism? What is...
I can't, now you're asking me to get into absolutisms, but I can't do that. I can't say what is escape, You just know. You just know when you're trying to be within certain limits that you may have around you based on, and these limits appearing in your life for so many reasons. Many of them even beyond your doing.
Yeah.
They just come with the neighborhood. They just come with the package. It's a package deal. You're born, first of all, you're born into a family. You're born into a family that has like tons of karma, tons of hang-ups, tons of shit already. You're born into a ton of psychological shit when you're born into a family. Already you're inherit. You just come in, you got to deal with all that. And you have to adapt to like somehow slowly adapt to, you know, the drama that you were born into. And so that's, you know, that's crazy. And that's what's going on. It's like, you know, I can talk about, you know, like extraplanetary dimensions and so on and so forth, infinite. But, you know, the proof is in the pudding. Right. So I usually don't like this. I like to talk about things. I try to bring things to like as simple a level as I can. You know, instead of like trying to be. That's not my forte. It's not to be so, you know, scientific or like, you know, intellectual.
Yeah.
Even though I do use intellect, sure, yeah, of course.
And science, probably.
Right, but I don't. That's not my forte. My forte is just being and expressing whatever it is, that being working through me, as me, beyond me, within me, without me, around me, is, and that applies to everyone else. And it's all the dance of energy, you know. Some people call it the dance of Shiva and Shakti. Some people call it the yin yang. You know,
so
Tao.
That's kind of what we were talking about
Tai
earlier.
Chi.
Tai
The
Chi.
grand ultimate.
Is there any such thing as matter?
Matter, of course. There is such a thing as matter. The problem, the matter, what the matter is that we're not. It's our perception of matter, as opposed to spirit, as opposed to you know, matter and spirit.
But
you know?
Matter is really
energy and consciousness. So you can say energy, consciousness, or matter, spirit. It's the same. They're like, we're not understand. We are the ones who are having this myopia. No, we're having this block where we're seeing double, right? We're seeing double, and we're not seeing it for what it really is, because we're seeing it double.
Yeah.
We're causing a rift where there is no need to cause one.
Right.
We're trying to define what can never be defined. How dare you try to define that? What? As soon as you define it, it's already wrong.
Yeah.
It's already wrong. As soon as you say, this is it.
Exactly.
That's it.
So it's something that can't be labeled?
Can't really, no, of course not. We're talking about something and some being, a thing or being, person, place, or thing. Some person, place, or thing, some persons, places, and things that are not within that paradigm, you know, that mental paradigm of like
they couldn't even be called
separation,
a person, place, or thing.
Between matter, which is energy, and consciousness, which is spirit. Oh, he has a fighting spirit. Oh, he's so spirited.
Yeah.
So spirit is not just some mystical thing. It's actually the force, the expressed force of the person. It's like the spirit, and you know, and they call liquor spirits because it loosens you up,
right,
to follow your spirit, your core spirit. You're like, you know, like you're guttural. You're like natural. When it comes right down to it, who you are.
Right.
You know, and you know that's why they call it spirits, because it helps you to flow into the spirit. Your base spirit.
Takes away the inhibition?
Yeah. It's your base spirit,
right.
You know? So it's spirits. And it's also, of course, the you know, the obvious inference that there are, you open yourself up to actually other vibrations, unseen and seen, but mostly unseen, that other people don't see, but you're seeing, you're experiencing, and you're being affected by. Become open to them, and then you get influenced. So that's why the term under the influence.
Interesting.
You're under the influence.
Under the influence.
Just, you know, these phrases, they don't just, you know, it depends on how deep, you know, we talk about Zen, you know, the basic premise of Zen was this, I know, the Zen is this Japanese way, the Chinese say it's Chan, it became Zen, in Tibet it was Jan, Jan, or Jan, and then it was Chen, Chan, Jan, Chan, and then Zen. Before it was Chan, before it was Jan, it was Dhyana. Before it was Dhyana, it was Jhana. And Dhyana is absorption, is like, Zen is the absorption in being and beingness. Just like you're with life, existence, being. You are, you know, it's like, you're just absorbed. There's no even question of identity crisis.
Yeah.
That doesn't, you're free of that. And then from that freedom is when you express through your, you know, minute identity, which is a role that we're all playing these roles. We are. You know, we're all, dress rehearsal is every day.
Yeah.
We're all playing roles, you know, and so it's very deep. And when you go and you start observing life not as something that you try to you start observing life not as something that you want to change.
Yeah.
But knowing that just by your participation in it, you're already causing change. Because you are part of the disruption. Everyone is.
Yeah.
That's all the static that goes on. So, because we're caught in this matrix of like separation. We're slowly getting collectively, very slowly, you know, we're already, our top scientific minds have like begun evolving past the realm of like just utterly dunderheadedness, and they've like you know, quantum physics and all that, and string theory, and you know, and quantum onions, like endless, you know, and so
we're making some
realizing
progress.
that matter. Yeah, of course we are, but it's at a snail's pace, collectively speaking. It's still like not even anything. Still like. People think I'm being cynic when I say, when people say, like, they mean well, but this is like a disease. And if you notice, it's a reoccurring disease. It's like, save the world, save the worlditis, you know? People fall for that, and still to this day. So they get it, whether it's save the world religiously, or save the world as a secular revolution, whatever you want to call it. It's the same, coming from the same psychological imbalance, dysfunctional need, and I should know about dysfunction, because I'm like Mr. Dysfunction, but anyway, yeah, it's a dysfunctional need. You have to recognize your dysfunctions before you can supersede them, because it's your dysfunctions that have you in this bind, in this knot. And in fact, in yoga, in Tantra Yoga, they talk about the 3 knots. You know, Granti is a knot. It's a knot, it's like energy that's like, so you have to release it.
Exactly.
And it's like mental, it's psycho and physical, psychophysical. It's like,
because after all, does the world really need saving? And if it does, isn't it
right,
the result of
forget about the world
human
saving.
behavior?
But the world you save, the very next moment is another world that you didn't save, and the next moment after that is because we're thinking like this.
But if the world is in danger, it's probably because of human behavior, right?
Of course, and things happen as they happen. You may think it's unfortunate, But the thing is, we're locked into this thing of like, we're thinking that this is us and that's it. Right. And that the notion, the very notion that, no, Martha, this is really not you. You just don't see it. And the very notion that there can be another experience of who you are that may be beyond, and that you may have that recollection, but for whatever reasons, you are not remembering. Okay? Could be you chose not to remember, or it could be you were programmed not to remember, and you remember when they take the chip out, or it could be any number of things. But basically, it's about remembering. You know? Because we have the capacity, and it's easy to say, but that's what we're all learning in all different ways. You know, the capacity to, you know, there's the basic drive to fulfill ourselves. But before that, there's the basic drive to survival. And from survival, it gets into fulfillment. Naturally, the progression is fulfillment. You know, it's like understanding human nature. I think is more important, more extreme and vital importance, you know, to focus on being a human, not God or not some like inhumane atheism, you know.
Is this getting back?
Sometimes has a certain inhumane element to it. That's why I don't like it. I understand and I actually respect a lot of atheists when they're very clear-headed. Because I know where they're coming from, and I said, yeah, I'm with you. In that case, I'm an atheist.
Right, right.
But then there's a certain amount, just like in any ideology, there's a bunch of them that have like this, I don't know, it's like either this nihilist view, totally nihilist view of existence, or like this totally materialistic to the hilt, elitist view.
Right.
And basically, that just means a big fuck you to me from either of them. so you know, so there's all sorts of trips.
Well, getting back to the basic premise of Zen.
Yeah, Zen is just be in the moment, but so in the moment that you forget about the moment.
Yeah.
You're not even thinking about him being in the moment.
So why...
You're just there.
Why is that a big fuck you from atheists when they take those attitudes?
Because what they're reacting they're having a traumatic reaction to the religious, you know, pastor or the reverend or the priest or the father who took him to the side, you know, and did some things to him, to his body sometimes and to his head that he could never live down.
Wow.
And because of that, or like just being around a family of that and whatever, and relatives with like mad, like fucking, you didn't go through it, but they fucking sure went through mad fucking shit, and they're gonna let you know about it, you know? And so all this type of shit. So it's not easy.
Which brings us to the existence of God.
To me, God is being, okay?
It's not it's not a separate being.
Well, okay, let me put it this way. It's not a no, the God I know could never be a separate being. And any God that is a separate being is just a fucking, you know, big jerk off.
You were talking about the bully.
He's a bully.
Right.
He's a big bully. You know, it's like, that's what it is. No matter how refined the bully is, still a bully.
That demands worship.
Could be very refined. It demands worship or recognition or like subservience.
Yeah.
You know?
It sounds kind of evil to me.
Well, yeah, that's the joke. No, it's like, there's a lot of ways you can take this, but, you know, the joke is that, I don't know, it's like, on one level, I simplify it. There's a good Satan, and there's a bad Satan. The good Satan is a scapegoat. He's not really the Satan. The real Satan is the fucking asshole who's posing as God and also then fucking reaming everybody as he's posing as God.
Yeah.
Letting you know that he's the real fucking Satan as he points his fucking dirty fingers at some other dude or group of mindset and say, those are the evil ones.
The ones that are not conforming
to my bullshit.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I'm King Ding Dong.
Yeah.
And I'm going to exert my ding dong all over you.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what that's about, basically. And, you know, and that's what's going on. And so many levels, everyone's trying to fuck each other. Everyone's just trying to fuck each other. And it's like hilarious when you see it's not just like within every neighborhood. There's like all different types of like, you know, head cases, head trips, mind games going on. You know?
So getting back
everyone-
to what God actually, your idea
God
of God.
is being. But
Being.
God is personal, of course. God, okay. That godliness, right? That's the way I'll put it. That's the simplest way, and that's the most honest way to put it. Godliness. Because you cannot speak of an absolute God, which is eternal being, right? Eternally expanding, infinitely, you know, just non-stop. It's beyond non-stop. It's like inconceivable. Boundless.
Right.
You can't say that. Okay, this guy right here is the one. The only one forever and ever. He is like encapsulates the absolute eternity.
Yeah.
This role is the only role. See, when you do that, that's not real. That's not real. Now, can individual units of energy express such and exude such godliness that they radiate to the point of like divinity, right? Or, you know, yes. But the ones who are honest among those are the ones who are then the real gods, or who don't even see themselves as gods, because that whole God trip is also originally from just like, I'm better, I'm the best one, I'm the top guy,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know? And that's where that comes from. So God could not exist without Satan. Okay? So, but what I'm saying is that Satan is that God. Because that God created, it even tells you, I created good and I created evil. And if you piss me off, I will fucking evil the evil out of you. You know?
Well,
And it's like,
so what about duality, non-duality?
no, well, this is the thing. Non-duality is a very profound, that's an understatement. Non-duality is a reality. It's a way of perceiving things, perceiving reality. To understand, it's beyond intellectual. It's just, you can't explain it. It's just you're in that zone, that null zone. But the other thing about non-duality, the non-duality has to, again, it needs duality in order to be non-dual.
Yeah.
It needs duality. So duality, I think the problem we've been taught is to, and finally Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha, and in the Lotus Sutra, his final teaching, that's when he gets into the middle path, you know?
Yeah.
It's not no longer the extreme of like being the Prince Siddhartha, or like the extreme of being like, you know, the emaciated, you know, all in bone, you know, dude living under a tree, you know? So eventually he just came up with the same conclusion as, yeah, well, how about if I'm just myself, you know, whatever that means, from moment to moment. That's the middle way, just natural, just be, you know. then you're really empty. Because you're really empty, then you're paradoxically full. You know, but it's not about. So it's all a matter, you know. So I'm saying that the serpent in the garden was not the bad guy in the movie. That's what I'm saying. You know, he wasn't the bad guy, because if you read the rest of his tales, you see who the bad guy is. Come on, he even tells you. And he shows you by his character alone. This guy's fucking insane.
Yeah.
This guy's power hungry. He's gonna fuck you. You know, and that's what it is. Listen to me or I will smite you.
Yeah.
You know, this is the type of character, and you met any character like this in real life, you would not get along with him.
Right.
And if you did get along with him, it was either because of fear and you pretended to get along with him, or you're actually another version of a douchebag like him, and then you like that company.
You'd probably be elite.
Yeah, so, and there's all different types of that, you know, not just in the elite echelons of society, but also everywhere. You know, you can see that. You see the class structure and substructures and subclass structures and sub, every down the line all the way up. And everything in between, you know.
Yeah.
You see the class struggles, the things that people do, you know. Yeah. That's it.
All right. Thank you for that.
All right.
All right.